We're in Crewe to meet Laura Smith. Until recently, she was the MP here, but in December, the Tories kicked her out. We're here to talk to her about what life is like after the House of Commons. Hi, Laura. You all right?
Hi, yeah, nice to see you.
Nice to meet you. You're right. So, Laura, you, until very recently, were an MP. And you lost your seat. And so you were looking for work.
Yeah.
And you came here to the job centre.
Yeah. I'm like anybody else. As soon as work stops, you need to look at all of your options, and that's the reason I had my appointment just like anybody else. And there is this misconception that everybody who is in politics or in the public eye in that way is going to have loads of money in the bank or a personal sort of family fortune to fall back on or loads of connections. It certainly isn't the case for me, and it isn't the case for the vast majority of people who I know who have lost their seat. That's what it's here for, and I'm not ashamed about it, and nobody else should be. More to the point, that's the main thing. Nobody should be.
And you volunteer here, that's right?
I do, yeah, when I can. Probably have a bit more time to do it now.
Could you tell me how you were emotionally when you found out that you'd lost?
It was devastating, and it's something that I can either sit in my house and mope about and feel sorry for myself about, or you dust yourself off and you try and persuade people, because I don't blame anybody else. We didn't sell our message. That's our fault, that's our responsibility. It's not the voters' fault.
Do you feel any animosity to Jeremy Corbyn or the leader's office? Are you angry about how the campaign was handled?
No, I'm not, because to be honest, I'm realistic. This has been something that I've been warning about for 2.5 years regarding Brexit in communities like this. In 2017 we had it right, and communities like this trusted us. We'd lost that by 2019, and we've got to address it, because I do believe there is a positive world outside of the European Union. I do not think that the Conservative Party are the people who should be delivering that. I don't think they're ever going to have people like the people in my hometowns of Crewe and Nantwich at the heart of what they want to see happening. But I do believe that the Labour Party can paint that vision, and I hope that they start painting that vision now of what we will offer outside of the EU, because it is very obvious that there is public demand there for it. People need to accept that.
So who do you like then in the current leadership lineup? Because, I remember I've interviewed Keir Starmer, I interviewed Emily Thornberry over the course of the general election, two pretty big advocates for Remain.
Yeah.
We'll have a second referendum, I will campaign for Remain. I still, those are the lines that they were saying to me.
Yeah, I know.
Who do you think, at the moment, represents that point of view that you're putting across?
I think that Rebecca has a lot of the policies that I want to see with regards to the green industrial revolution. They're the kind of things that we need to be hearing about. The work that we did on the National Education Service, the work about having a national care service. I don't want those things to disappear, because I think there is public demand for them, but we've got to sell it to people, because for whatever reason, our plan with the economy, people didn't buy it. I firmly believe that is the right way that we need to be going, and for that reason I think Rebecca's probably best placed to be looking at that. But I've always been a little bit more of a grassroots person, so the leadership for me is it's not the be all and end all, it's the party as a whole, and I think we can fixate too much on the personalities of people rather than what the public actually are demanding and what they need and communities like this need.
Yeah. Tell me about who you are as a person, because for the last 2.5 years I figure being an MP was probably a pretty central part of your identity. Or maybe that's not the case, I don't know. I mean, you tell me.
I've just always been somebody from when I was very, very small, because my family was very political. We always laughed because it was socialism basically for breakfast, lunch and dinner in my household. And my grandfather was a miner, a trade unionist, My dad was always involved in the Labour Party. It's always been a massive part of my identity. I've always said that I'm an ordinary working class person from Crewe. I'm not saying about it in order to gain sympathy or anything like that. I'm just like everybody else. And I guess that's what I've wanted to deal with, is just the misconception that all politicians are kind of cut from the same cloth, that we're all going to get stuffed in the House of Lords, or even that we'd want to be stuffed in the House of Lords.
So people talk a lot about more and more women being in the House of Commons. That can obviously only be a good thing.
Yeah.
Having a more diverse array of class backgrounds as well, really important.
Yeah.
If we have representative politics, we need people that represent our society to be in there rather than just...
100%, 100%. And that's what it's all about for me. And there's a huge disconnect between people and politicians. And in the election, I found one of the biggest barriers was that there was just an anti-politics feeling. It wasn't necessarily that everybody thought Boris was the answer. It was that they didn't really trust any of us.
Westminster can often be a bit of a revolving door, can't it? Like special advisors, MPs, then lobbying firms, communication firms, and someone's out of a job and then a week later they're in somewhere else and it's, a case of a text message and they're in there and all the rest of it. I think that ties into perhaps a little bit of the distrust that you were just talking about. But then also as well, like, if you're not from that background or you're not from that world, you don't have a mate from school who runs up as a partner at a firm or whatever. Yeah,
absolutely. Westminster is a bubble. It is incredibly snobby, a snobbery that I don't think many people can even fathom. Some of the language and the stuff that I heard in there, it was like, I've just never heard that kind of...
Just give us an example of the sort of thing you're talking about or that you've experienced.
I remember on my first day being kind of in the induction, being told that we needed to make sure that we didn't bully the staff. I just thought, why are we having to be told that as adults seeking to represent our communities and we want to see better, surely? Why are we having to be told something that's just so obvious? When I got involved in politics, I remember saying to a local journalist, she was saying, why are you doing this? I said, look, I want to be able to look my kids in the face when they're adults and say, I did everything that I could to change things, to fight for you, to make sure people like you were secure and had opportunity. That's what I'll continue to do.